If you work in a boardroom or you dig ditches for a living, you've probably had a supervisor or a coworker tell you to work smarter, not harder. But the people who say that rarely explain how to do it. They give you the slogan, but they don't give you the gearbox. If the 100% policy is a mindset that keeps you from settling, and the art of moving slowly is the path you've chosen to walk, then third gear is the pace at which you actually cover the ground. It's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about operating in a smooth, calculated, composed manner where you are in total control of the dashboard. Welcome to the third gear. I want to be clear. I'm not here to hand you a manual on how to be a principal, a perfect parent, or an expert in life. I'm not there yet, myself. What I am doing is opening the notebook on my own training. I'm showing you the steps that I'm taking to build a life of intention, from how I pace my classroom to how I pace my relationships. Consider this a report from the field, from someone who is actively in the process of becoming. I've spent the last 1,000 days building a foundation. Now I'm looking toward the horizon, toward leadership, grad school, and relationships that actually go somewhere. Think of it like the Goldilocks story. In my past, I was the too hot bear. I'll dive headfirst into the honeymoon phase. I was all speed, all intensity, trying to force a connection to exist before the foundation was even dry. I was redlining the engine. Then, more recently, I was the too cold bear. I was in a relationship that moved at a glacial, inert pace. There was no forward momentum, and when I tried to push for some, I was met with dismissal. It was a soft ghosting waiting to happen, because if you aren't moving forward, you're just waiting for the relationship to die. As for now, I'm looking for just right. Third gear is where I am deliberate. With the person I'm getting to know, I'm not diving in, and I'm not standing still. I'm speaking with intention. I'm acting with purpose. And most importantly, I'm patient enough to let things germinate. I'm allowing the dynamic to breathe. I've realized that if a relationship, or a career move, or a classroom lesson can't handle a little bit of space, it's not strong enough to be built upon anyway. So how do you implement this? I call it the art of the pause. It's the mechanic that keeps you in third gear. People often ask me, Rob, how do you keep your composure in front of a room full of students? Well, first thing is, I'm going to tell you it's not always easy. It's never about making a mistake. It's about how you recover. When I'm passionate about a lesson that I'm teaching, my brain works faster than my mouth. I'll start tripping over my words, trying to say two things at once. In the past, I'd push through and I'd get flustered. Now, I use the pause as a reset button. I'll stop, look at the class, and say, okay, let me catch my breath. I take an exaggerated, audible inhale, right there in front of everyone. This does two things. It resets my pace, but it also breaks the tension. It reminds my students that I'm human, not some robot authority figure just spouting out information. Usually, it gets a chuckle or a smile. It breaks the mood in the best way possible. It shows my students that it's okay to slow down, to collect your thoughts, and to speak with intention rather than rushing to fill the silence. It is a leadership move, even if it feels like it's just a breath. It teaches my students that the pause is a tool, not a failure. Whether I'm standing in front of my students, preparing for a principal's office, or having a deep conversation, I run this 3-step check. Step 1, the physical reset. I take a deep, controlled breath, just like the one I demonstrated earlier. It stops the impulse to react. Step 2, the size up. I don't answer immediately. I look at the room. I absorb the context. You cannot lead a room you haven't observed, and you absolutely cannot command the attention of a room if you do not control the tempo or the pace. And the beauty of this is that it's universal. Whether you're in a boardroom, navigating a classroom, parenting your kids, or building a new relationship, these aren't just work skills. They are life skills. Finally, step 3, the word filter. When I'm about to say something, I ask myself, is this reactive or is it purposeful? The pause isn't aloofness. It's the sound of composure. It's the sign that you are driving the car, not the other way around. The same silence I'm learning to hold in a deep conversation with someone I'm interested in is the same silence I'll need to hold when I'm sitting across from a parent in the principal's office. It's all the same gear, and it is all the same composure. I'm learning that when you stop rushing, you start leading. And as for me, I'm just getting started. No glitz, just the work. This week, I want you to find your own art of the pause. The next time you feel that urge to rush, to fill the silence, or to force a reaction, stop. Take the deep breath, size up the room, and see what happens when you're the one holding the tempo. This episode of Rebuilding Rob, the podcast, was produced, edited, written, and hosted by yours truly, your favorite blogger, a guy named Rob. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I'm well aware that, like me, you have a ton of podcast listening options, so I'm honored that you decided to take a little bit of time out of your day to spend here with me. Rebuilding Rob, the podcast, is available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Of course, you probably figured that part out already, or else you wouldn't be listening to me right now. If you're interested in more insight into this perfectly ordinary, non-gun-owning white guy, feel free to check out my blog, rebuildingrob.com. So until next time, this is Rob, reminding you to be audacious, be bold, be brave, be strong enough to be gentle, and remember, the rebuild never ends. Bye, everybody.